current tenure as a director IQAC University of Mumbai, we all know that Mumbai University has successfully faced the third cycle of NAAC accreditation and been awarded with A++ grade. She has also worked as a full-time faculty of Jamnalal Bajaj Institute of Management Studies, SIS College of Management Studies, IES Institute of Management Studies and Research Center. Dr. Smita Shukla Madam holds postgraduate degree in Economics and Business Management in the subject of Finance. She was awarded with University Gold Medal for her academic excellence in Management subject. She has completed her PhD in Management on the subject Economics of Private Equity Market in India. She has also holds different additional qualifications like NCFM certification offered by NSE in Commodity Market and Derivatives, Advanced Diploma in Finance from All India Management Association, Diploma in Information System Management from APTEC, Postgraduate Diploma in Securities Law from Government Law College Mumbai, Diploma in Communicative Marathi, and most importantly, Chartered Management Institute, United Kingdom's Level 5 Certificate in Leadership, which was completed under AICTE UKI ARI program. Dr. Smita Shukla Madam is a research guide in PhD in the Management in Mumbai University. She has worked as member of various university committees like ICSSR, Scrutiny Committee, Student Grievance Cell, Budget Committee, Purchase Committee, NAT Committee, etc. She has also worked as a member ad hoc Board of Studies in the Management, Finance and Business Management. She was organizer and chairperson for the various international management research conferences which are organized by University of Mumbai through Alkesh Dinesh Modi Institute for Financial and Management Studies. She is a university nominee at Academic Council at Narsimhanji College of Commerce and Economics, SIS College of Commerce and Economics, Bhavan's College of Commerce and Economics. She is also a member of Academic Council for the Kohinoor Business School. Dr. Smita Shukla Madam has been awarded with highly prestigious UGC Research Award for 2014 to 16. She has several of her research papers have been conferred with the Best Paper Award in various conferences and seminars. Her paper was also shortlisted as one among the 25 top papers of the country which are there from the various parts of the country in the most prestigious Wipro Arjun Award competition 2011. She has published over 60 papers in international and national journals and books and has attended several of the international and national conferences. She has edited the 7 books which have been published by reputed Indian publishers. So, now I request Dr. Smita Shukla Madam. She is going to talk today on implementation of new education policy in higher education. Madam will provide the introduction to the need and expectations of the new education policy in higher education. Also cover the different content of quality education and national education policy while incorporating the expectations of assessment and accreditation. She will capture the ongoing expectations of regulatory agencies and government from higher education institutions with respect to implementation of national education policy. So with this, I request and welcome Dr. Smita Shukla Madam for this very important current topic of academic, that is implementation of new education policy in higher education. Thank you. Welcome.
Good morning to all the participants and my greetings to Principal of the college as well as IQAC Coordinator of Vivekanand College of Pharmacy. I thank the management as well as Principal and IQAC Coordinator for inviting me. It's a very interesting topic and something which I believe everyone sitting in this room is looking forward to, because this is something which we have been discussing till now. But now the time has come where possibly we can't discuss anymore and action has to be built up. So looking at the concept of FDP, which Vivekanand College has thought of, and within that planning this session is of great importance. So what I've done is in my session I've tried to structure my discussion in such a way that first I will like to delve on and discuss with you all as well that what was the need of new education policy, because we say in management, I'm from management discipline, or even in pharmacy, you have to first identify the need. If there is no need, then why there should be a product or why there should be a solution. Only when there is a need that you are looking at a change. So first we need to understand why there was a need for new education policy. Then we can look at that within the new education policy framework, what are the changes which have been visualized. And the third component will be that if these changes are being visualized, then what are the action points? So I think everyone sitting in this room will have some takeaway. They may not be of direct action for you at this point of time, but they will be definitely in a year's time or in 2 years' time. But let's also understand that for the universities and for certain institutions which are autonomous institutions, okay, there is now no waiting period. We have started, already implementation has started. It is not about, okay, we will do it from next year or we will do it from year onward after that. It is no longer like that. So let us start by discussion on background. It's very important for us, very much important for us to understand the background of new education policy. So whenever you think of education system of any country, there has to be some kind of vision map which has to back that. When we look at India and we think of vision map for the same, okay, it's already in presentation. When we think of India and when we think of vision map for the same, vision map came in when we got independence, because prior to that we all know that what we were tuned to was a foreign thinking where the thought was not from the perspective of growth of our country, but thought was from the perspective of the foreign entity which was actually ruling us. So when we got independence, and at that point of time the challenges were immense. We were extremely poor country. There was very low confidence in capability that we can actually take forward this country as a whole together. There was complete destruction of our traditional knowledge which had taken place. There were no good colleges, technical educational institutions or universities of great reputation across the countries they were existing. Yes, University of Mumbai was there at that point of time, but when you look at the structure and composition and the number of departments, it was not enough to look at that what kind of vision we were planning for a new India at that point of time. So the moment we got independence, the vision was that we should be creating new India. And this new India should be confident India. And India which is looking at what is not existing and what has to be done now. So with that vision, at that point of time, Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan University Education Commission was established, which gave its report, and it spoke about, as I stated, New India, vision for New India. It said that in looking at whatever is our changing and new political, social and economic condition, what best the education system can do to rebuild this New India, that contribution should be looked at. We had come out of a foreign domination of over 200 years. So at that point of time, this feeling of protecting democracy and furthering it was also one of the issues. So the vision that there can be nurturing of student leaders on the campus who can become future leaders was also one of the thought. At that point of time, the difference between have and have-nots was also existing. It's not that it's not existing today. It is still existing. But then at that point of time, even though those who had was very little and those who had not was very, very acute. So social justice, rural development were the goals. Liberty, because we had just got freedom. So liberty thought of thinking, liberty in terms of what we can do in science, technology, education. Equality of all was one of the undercurrents which we were looking at, whether you come from any religion or any background or any caste, and then brotherhood, because we were coming together as a country for the first time. Otherwise, we were fragmented as a nation, right? So we had already Pakistan had been created, and we were altogether new entity at that point of time. There were still some disintegrated entities also. So how do you build a national discipline, a national goal? How do you believe in power of each other and come up together? And then we wanted to rebuild this feeling that we are proud of being Indian. So belief that our culture is not as bad as it was projected, and there were things which were good and takeaways from that which had to be taken. So that was the vision with which the NEP, or I'll not say NEP because this was not technically defined as NEP, but this was vision map for how Indian education system has to progress. Another 10 years down the line, or more than that, I can say 15 to 16 years down the line, while we were doing what was visualized by Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan, a need was felt that can we be more focused in terms of our thinking, because at this point of time, our institutions were taking shape. IIMs were getting established, if you recall, IITs were taking shape. And how do we fix up India in this vision map? That was also one of the thoughts. So in 1964-66, T.S. Kothari Commission was formulated to give a roadmap for India. And one of the taglines, which is still, whenever anyone talks about T.S. Kothari Commission, it said that destiny of India is being shaped in its classroom, which is like such a strong sentence and matters till date. If you want to question this sentence, you will say that I cannot negate it. I have to accept it. Whatever is taking place in the classroom is going to be future of tomorrow. And that is what this policy also visualized, and it said that goal of universities, higher educational institutions should be seeking knowledge within the framework of truth. And truth, when you talk about truth, truth cannot be defined by boundaries. There is so much of philosophy into it, which means it said that education is fine, that you have to reach a goal and outcome, it's fine, but at the same time there should be philosophical thought which should back it. That is there, you should look at ethos, overall ethos. You should be able to understand the larger perspective of what you are doing when you are talking about seeking education. It spoke about giving to the country trained manpower in various spheres of society, whether it was art, science, commerce, etc. It spoke about developing leadership. Without leadership, countries are not possible. So developing leadership. And as I stated, during this period, IIMs and IITs were getting created, and at least this component, when you look at, I think as a country, we are extremely proud that when you look at the best of the companies across the world and who are leading them, several of them are being led by Indians. So leadership thoughts which could be nurtured on the campuses, not typically political thoughts, but leading whatever you are doing. That was one of the ideas. Then social justice, inculcating right values, reduction of social and cultural disparities. That is, education should combine these thoughts. When I'm saying that what is the goal of education, the education is supposed to combine within its teaching practices the idea of social justice, inculcation of right values among the students, reduction of social disparities, development of national consciousness that why we are for what we are. So besides our family, there is a larger entity which we should be contributing to in case we want to be proud of our existence. So that development of national consciousness, and then developing the program of adult education, because there were number of individuals which were left out of the scope of education at that stage, and this idea was built up that why there should be anyone who doesn't have opportunity to education. So this was one of the visions. Then as we progressed with time, we had some more visions and policy documents as well, and some which we can discuss are those of 1986 and 1992. So by the time we were in 1980s and 1990s, our universities were doing well. Okay, we had well-established IITs and IIMs, but the challenge was seen as that gross enrollment ratio of India is very low. So those who are able to or in terms of capacity, economic ability, circumstances, those who are able to get to their schools, get educated, otherwise they are completely left out. So at that point of time, in terms of vision of India, the thought was that every child should be able to go to school. And this is what these documents focused on. So they said other things have been taken care of, but this is something which should be looked at. And the main focus of these two documents was right of education. It was the Right to Education Act is outcome of these documents, that there should be free and compulsory education for all, and specifically for girls. So whatever benefits which we see in BMC schools for girls, in other government institutions for girls, or otherwise for students who are underprivileged, is outcome of that. We can have our own criticism on quality of these institutions, but the fact is that they were supposed to meet a challenge which they have met. Okay, so this was there. But then was it that we were able to do all? So by this time, the thinking started that in case we started with a vision that we will be creating New India, we will be creating a New India in which there is appreciation of idea of justice and brotherhood, and we are talking about discipline. So have we been able to reach there? Yes, we have developed as a country. There has been definitely economic improvement which has taken place within the country. There have been other challenges as well. When you look at per capita income levels, etc., maybe on account of the size of population, maybe these are the challenges, but no one can deny but there has been economic growth and there has been an economic transformation. And some of these institutions which have been established, IITs and IIMs, have done well. But have they been still able to touch upon every aspect of what was visualized in terms of what education system will be contributing to the country as a whole? And that idea was that we should be having overdeveloped minds as well as overdeveloped hearts. That is, we are creating well-rounded individuals, one who are great thinkers, who can create great leadership changes, amendments, contributors, scientists, But it shouldn't happen that they are underdeveloped minds, that they are not having empathy. And it was felt that somehow educational system was losing touch with this idea of empathy. And I don't think this is a wrong criticism, because many of you who are sitting in this room might be close to my age. There are many young participants as well, I can see that, but many are close to my age. So if you recall, when we were in school, we had this subject of moral education. But is it that your kids learn that in school? It's not there anymore, right? So there was a purpose for that subject, and then the need was felt, or maybe the idea was it is not needed anymore. But then it is needed, at least it sets that ball rolling, it creates that thought, right? Say for example, just to give a simile, I'm not trying to cover the entire scope of what happens by power of moral education. So during the regime of current Prime Minister or BJP government, specifically Prime Minister, I will not like to talk about others, when he said that we should be following Gandhian principle of cleanliness, the way message has reached, today your own kid must be advising you. Those who are sitting and are relatively young and have small kids at home, your kids must be advising you and must be telling you, we will not burn crackers on Diwali. Mama, don't throw your packet here, put it into dustbin. So this is what it is. If you are taught right from young age that this is right, this is wrong, this you should do, this you should not do, it gets ingrained. So the criticism of whatever was happening on the campuses, in the schools, in various institutions was that we were, as education system, we were creating overdeveloped minds, best of the minds in IITs and IIMs and in our medical colleges, but individuals who had underdeveloped our hearts. And the need was felt that we have to look back and think of that how do we do value integration in academic programs? How do we ensure that there is value integration in also our institutional practices, and how there is value integration in terms of curricular and extracurricular activities which we conduct on campus. Now look at this, when you look at this and when you now think of, and many of you might be coming from the institutions who have maybe got into activity of NBA, some of you might have also worked in NAC for your institution. Think of the parameters of NAC, okay, or MBA. Does it talk about value integration in academic programs? Is there a parameter over there? It judges you. Are you good or not? It judges you on that parameter. Does it talk about value integration in institutional and management practices? It judges you. And again, whether or not it gives importance to student participation in curricular and extracurricular activities. Sometimes, while we are in the process of filling our reports and preparing our SSRs, we think of it as a work. But if you look at the ethos of why those questions are there is a reason that why all those that gets in. And the reason is that the accreditation bodies, those which were looking at the quality of education, started recognizing that institutions have started focusing too much on outcome of only education, but not what education is supposed to make. And there has to be a well-rounded human being which should be outcome of the education, not only one who is great in terms of thought, but also great in terms of empathy and what he or she can give back to the society. So when you refer to this perspective, the accreditation bodies started taking lead. So here I'd like to speak about one of the famous references which one of the earliest directors of NAC had made, and he said that when you talk about quality, quality has two aspects. One is fitness of purpose and second is fitness for purpose. When you refer to fitness of purpose, it is about quality of goals. Fitness of purpose. What is your purpose? What are you trying to do? You're not just trying to create engineers. You're not just trying to ensure that the students complete their degree programs. There is more to that. So you have to focus on what is your fitness of purpose and whether that is being met in terms of whatever you are doing on campus. And along with that, there has to be a fitness for purpose. Means your processes should be quality process, but process come after the goal. So first you have to fix a quality goal which is beyond just imparting education on whatever is your discipline, and then you have to think of what are your processes which can enhance that quality. So in case if you just focus on process, we have efficient processes, we make timetable, we display it on the notice board, that doesn't create quality. It is about first the fitness of purpose and then it is fitness for purpose. Okay, so goal is more important, process which can support is secondary, but process which supports is also important. But with that process of support being excellent, you cannot be an excellent institution. So you should be having exalted goals, and then only you can look at how do you reach there, and within that process how do you create the quality. So in NAAC value framework, when you look at, all this has been built in. So we have under NAAC 7 criteria, and in each criteria you will realize that there is this idea of fitness of purpose and fitness for purpose. So when you refer to NAAC framework, it talks about, and NAAC has its value framework. But here I have not given you that value framework. I am giving you 7 activities, value activities, which NAAC says creates quality. And around this, the 7 criteria are built up. Say for example, there should be relation of education to national development. Education should be able to nurture global competencies among students. Education should be able to inculcate values. Education should be such that it promotes technology and adoption of ICT, and education should become a way of achievement of excellence, both in terms of quality of your processes as well as in terms of your goals and continuous improvement. So when you look at NAAC framework, 5 criteria. Say for example, criteria 1. Okay, when we talk about what is in your curriculum, national development, global competencies, they are part of the framework. At the same time, when you look at criteria 7, again it touches upon that. Inculcating values, criteria 7 touches upon that. Promotion of technology, criteria 6 touches upon that. Criteria 4 touches upon that. Institutionalizing your quest for excellence, criteria 6 touches upon that. Criteria 3 touches upon that. Okay. Similarly, when you look at MBA framework, MBA framework has more criteria points in comparison to the NAAC points, but it has lesser number of matrices, I understand. So when we refer to MBA, it's not that their principle is different or their thought is different. Their approach might be slightly different, but their concept is also same. It also talks about whether or not institutional mission, vision, program, educational objectives are fitting into larger goal. What is that larger goal? National development. Whether or not you are also ensuring that whatever you started your journey for, you are reaching there. So program outcome, program curriculum, student performance, are you mapping all that or not? Okay. What is the faculty contribution beyond the teaching in the classrooms? And what kind of technical support and infrastructure institution are creating? Okay. What kind of teaching learning process and academic support is existing, and then governance and leadership, and finally whether or not there is a quest for excellence. So more or less it talks about the same framework. So what happened was, if you now can ponder upon, so we started with an educational policy which said that we have a vision for New India. we moved from there, and by the time we were in 1980s, 90s, our quest became that everyone should be educated, but we slightly diverted from what we wanted to be. And in that case, if we wanted to distinguish between good institutions and bad institutions, the role came upon the accreditation bodies that you decide how will you bifurcate or distinguish between good institution and bad institution, and they said we will go by value framework. And in value framework, there is a lot of importance of values. Values means, again I'll use that word, fitness of purpose. Okay, and that is how this thought started building in, that we have to relook at our education policy and see that whether or not we are still having in our goal system, when you look at educational institutions, in their goal system, the fitness of purpose. And how this fitness of purpose can come in? This fitness of purpose can come in only when you have well-rounded individuals. So in case if you want to create holistic individuals, you need to have a holistic educational system. So now what has happened is, over a period of time, the kind of education we all have gone through, I may know management, but I do not know pharmacy. Okay, you may know pharmacy, but you do not know sociology. Okay, somebody who is a social scientist may know social science, but may not know commerce. Okay, somebody who is into commerce may not understand art, and somebody who is into art may not understand technology. So yes, we might be great in terms of whatever we are doing, but somewhere we have created our own blocks. And even in the university system, and I believe the principal madam will definitely agree with me, what has happened is, because of this distinctiveness being created between disciplines, how one entity can collaborate to others, somewhere that disappeared. The rules and regulations became very rigid. If somebody wanted to do PhD and came from pharmacy discipline and wanted to do PhD in management, we said no, you cannot do that. You don't have the right qualification. You can do PhD in management only if you are a management graduate. Okay, why? We started creating these silos between our disciplines, where people could not do whatever they wanted to do. And the fact is, I'm not saying that we have to learn everything from the Western countries, but somewhere they were able to take that lead, and they were able to create such kind of systems where at any age you can be a doctor. Okay, age is no bar. You don't like medicine you are doing, you can become engineer, so age is no bar. After doing a corporate job, now you want to do agriculture, you can be in any university, enroll and pursue and do. Okay, so there they were able to break these rigid barriers, which we kept on building up further. So need was felt that in case if you want to have holistic, well-rounded individuals, these have to be ones who think beyond these rigid boundaries and who can understand that there are things beyond their discipline also which are possible. So till 10th standard, like when our kids are going to the schools, they are touching upon everything. They learn physics and they learn biology and they learn chemistry, and along with that they learn literature, along with that they are learning history. But you realize that the moment they leave 10th, then it is about development of that silos. Either they go for science or they go for commerce, and then you further progress in that. So suggestion was made that we should be having multidisciplinary approach, and which should start not just from the graduate level, but right from the time when the school education is running, 10th standard onwards, we should be having multidisciplinary approach. Then in addition to that, what was also felt and is important, which NEP said, and also has been a need for some time, that there has to be this respect towards our duties, fundamental duties, which are part of our constitution. So we remember our fundamental rights, But we don't remember our fundamental duties, and this is applicable to all of us. Like, I am no exception, you are no exception, right? This is applicable to all of us. We will fight for our rights, that right to equality and right to follow my religious practices, etc., etc. But am I also very conscious about that? What are my fundamental duties and what are the constitutional values which I should be nurturing and upholding? Am I really proud of being Indian? Because let me just again add one thing. So, are we really proud of being Indian? Are we even aware that where are we in the global map now? Okay, so you all must be reading news. So we are fifth largest economy in the world, which is in terms of there are two ways of evaluating economies. One is known as purchasing power parity basis, where we look at what the currency can buy in terms of global goods. If you have to fix up the economic position of a country, we call that as purchasing power parity based ranking of the country, GDP ranking of the country. And second one is you look at overall whatever is the GDP of the country, convert that into US dollars and do ranking of the country. So when we look at our purchasing power parity based ranking, we are the third largest economy in the world. And when we look at our GDP converted into USD based ranking, we are today the fifth largest economy in the world. Do we realize, are we proud of that? We should be. So, and we are not stopping here. The fact is, by the time we will be another 20 years down the line, we will be either number one or number two. No one can stop us from being there. So, are we proud of that? Are we ready for that? Are we ready for that mindset? For excellence, you need mindset, no? So is that mindset getting nurtured? That you are ready to say that I am extremely proud that I am Indian, and this is my contribution to the overall scenario. So this again became a vision. And then to develop skills, values, dispositions, which are, in any case, we have to talk about them, which are important for ensuring that there are human rights protected or sustainable development which is taking place. And we now look beyond our country. Now it's not just about our country, it is about what role we can play in the global scenario. So these have been the vision pointers of new education policy, and this is again meant for another new India, not the new India from where we started way back in 1947-48, but another new India which we are looking at to unfurl in another 20 years, where we have already started marching. It's not that we have to start our march now, we have already started marching there. And in that context, our education has to evolve. So when we refer to what are the salient features and pointers where adoption of implementation of new education policy comes, one is moving towards institutional autonomy. So in case we are talking about creating new India, and we say that everyone is responsible, then every institution is also responsible. The responsibility just doesn't lie with the universities, that universities will create rules and regulations and you will just follow those rules and regulations and you will adhere to those guidelines, and then you will ensure that the degree program is completed and university will be offering that degree. It is more about now that can you yourself do it? Are you capable of doing it on your own? Are you confident of doing it on your own? And can you create such benchmarks that beyond the country, are there international audience who will like to come and be there with you? Say for example, visualize Vivekanand College of Pharmacy another 10 years down the line, where there are students from South Asian countries and some of the European countries or maybe some of the African countries are coming and enrolling as students. That's possible. Under new education policy, now it's possible. You can do that. Okay, so moving towards institutional autonomy, making the institutions, standalone institutions, but multidisciplinary institutions autonomous. Okay, second is ensuring that there are good governing boards, and most of you must be representing some of the colleges which already have such kind of boards. But then in case you have a single standalone a discipline institution, these boards have to now start thinking that how do we move towards multidisciplinary education, and solutions are also being provided as far as NEP, after NEP UGC drafts are concerned. Already several drafts have come in for various discussion points for various of these pointers. Then third one is moving towards multidisciplinary system of education, whether it is about universities or whether it is about colleges. So till now, universities used to be multidisciplinary. So when university, say for example, has 56 plus departments. Departments are those which are offering degree programs. Okay, so you have MA in sociology and MA in Persian and MA in German and MA in French, or MA in politics, or MSc in biophysics, or MSc in nanoscience and nanotechnology, etc. So if you count such kind of departments which can do that at University of Mumbai, we say we have 56 departments, and they are from all possible disciplines. Okay, so we are a multidisciplinary university. But the expectation is now colleges also have to be multidisciplinary. Okay, so say for example, your own college, you will have to think of that how do you do that, and there are formats which are possible, which I'll be discussing as well. In addition to that, giving freedom to the students to choose their path. Where, say for example, a student who enrolls for a pharmacy program can choose his or her bouquet of courses where he or she can major in pharmacy but minor in something which is completely unrelated. Maybe on your campus you have management college, you have engineering college, you have pharmacy college. So a student will enroll into your college. So you will be granting the major degree in pharmacy and minor degree in management will be given by management college. Okay, so possible, and this is where again colleges have to work on, universities have to work on. Let me not just talk about colleges. Universities has to now open up, have to say, take autonomy, go ahead, do this, these are my guidelines, start working on that. Okay, then in addition to that, revamping curriculum, pedagogy, assessment, student support. Good part is on account of assessment, accreditation frameworks. To a large extent, we have been able to work on curriculum which is credit based. In true sense, it is still not credit based because we have not given freedom to our students. They get credits, but they get credit for the courses which are within the discipline. So now we have to move beyond that, but good part is we already have a curriculum structure across disciplines which is credit based. Okay. Then pedagogy, again good part is because of technical education and impact of technical education, we have been able to create examples of experiential learning, and specifically in pharmacy discipline, it is there, it is existing. So you all don't have to work very hard to do something new as far as that is concerned. Again, assessment is very much linked to outcome. So outcome-based education is the philosophy of NEP as well, and all technical educations are already in line with that. And finally, student support and progression, mapping them, ensuring that they are not just getting degrees but doing much more beyond that, mapping them, what they are doing, how they are progressing. And finally, this will never be ending till we are there, number one, with countries which where no one will be called as technically poor. So increasing access, equity and inclusion, which will always be philosophy till, as I said, we are there where we can proudly say that each Indian is educated. And I hope that we are able to say that, whether I am there or not by that time or madam, but hopefully it will happen one day or not. Okay, so now let us talk about institutional preparedness. Now in this context, let's talk about that what we should be looking at in case we are thinking of implementation of new educational policy in higher educational institution. Remember the pointers, that is the slide just prior to that. Okay, so there were pointers which were available. So let's start with the first one. First one was educational autonomy. Okay, let me just move towards that, and then I'll move towards multidisciplinary education. Okay, so moving towards institutional autonomy. So already if you look at NAC accreditation framework and work of Ministry of Education in last 7, 8, 10 years, all such institutions which had received A plus grading were already, were eligible for applying for autonomy. Now this will be further extended. So in case if you are A category institution, you will be eligible for autonomy. Once all that is reached, okay, then universities are very soon going to say it doesn't matter, at least get accredited, you will be eligible for autonomy. So in case you have received at least accreditation, you will be eligible for economy. So it is starting from best and now it is going down. So A++, A, and then which are not having these connotations but at least are accredited will also be opening for autonomy. Under new education policy, now government is asking universities to set target for themselves every year. That in case if, say for example, University of Mumbai has 55 plus autonomous colleges, government is saying, give us percentage, clear percentage, whereby that when we will come back to you next year, how many more colleges will be autonomous? So universities are setting their targets, they are saying 5%, 10%. So let's say for University of Mumbai, 5% is the target, which is like basic minimum. How many colleges we have? Any clue? Even if you don't have exact numbers, we have 839 colleges. Okay, so 839 if you look at, 10% is 83 and 5% is, so at least those many colleges have to be autonomous by next year. So universities are now going to come after the life of the institutions which have received A plus or A grade and have not yet applied for autonomy to say apply for autonomy, we will have mentors for you. It is going to happen very soon because already a movement towards that has started. Okay, so
how many colleges?
Come again? Yes.
Currently, how many colleges are there?
55. We are one among best in the country, Maharashtra. When you look at Maharashtra and overall other universities within the state, University of Mumbai is one among the best with maximum number of autonomous colleges. After that is Tamil Nadu and other southern states. But Maharashtra has really done well. But we can't be now complacent of that. Because now every year 5%, 10% because the idea is all will be autonomous. University will be standalone. University will be left alone. All colleges will become autonomous. And on that direction, the change has already started taking place and you will be getting feel of it very, very soon. So it's very important that you start thinking in that direction. Now next one, besides that, one very core aspect of NEP is that education now cannot be in silos. It cannot be one which has independent disciplines where there is division between pharmacy, management, engineering, medical, social sciences, commerce, etc. It has to become interdisciplinary or multidisciplinary. When we say multidisciplinary, it means that the students have option to, beyond their own curriculum, adopt some courses or take on some courses which might be unrelated to their discipline, but they still fit into whatever is the overall framework of degree granting institutional framework. Degree granting institutional framework has to identify that the students have that right to take on courses which may be from completely unrelated discipline. When you do that, it is multidisciplinary, and when you embed within your curriculum some of these aspects, it becomes interdisciplinary. So it's your choice, but whatever happens, you will have to have multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary approach. Now saying this is fine, but doing this is difficult, but that also we'll discuss. So when we talk about multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary approach, so it isn't just about disciplines in terms of teaching, learning of sociology or commerce or arts, etc., or is it beyond that? So the concept is one, the choices with the students where they can major and minor. Major can be in one discipline, minor can be in another discipline, okay. Also, curriculum should be one where at least some relationship is built through some subjects which are interdisciplinary in approach. Say, for example, when we look at our own university campus and we think of which are those departments which are interdisciplinary departments. So, we have this department of biophysics, which is interdisciplinary department. We don't have department of zoology. We have department of life science, which is interdisciplinary. We have department of nanosciences and nanotechnology, which is interdisciplinary. So we have one sports institution which has just come up, which is combination of management, science, sports, nutrition, some component of maybe pharmacy might be also involved. So we have Garware Center for Education Development, Garware Institute and Center for Education Development, which where most of the programs are interdisciplinary programs. Now this is something which no institutions, once they get autonomy, will have to start visualizing. So some of the universities in the country have already taken the lead. Several of the private universities have taken the lead. When you look at what kind of programs are being offered by the private universities, you will see reflection of that. So till now we were criticizing, see private university, they can do this, we cannot do this. But now this will come to you. You will have to plan how do we give this kind of extension. Then again, one more component is there will be no distinction between curriculum and extracurricular activities, which means that you will have to give credit even for sports. You will have to give credit for NSS participation also. That can be a complete paper of evaluation. If a student is taking part in NSS activities and within the framework of how many hours have to be contributed, he or she has done, maybe it will be a complete paper. 3 credits done, so 1 course completed. So even that kind of freedom has to be there. There has to be integration of skill and value education as well as vocational education within the curriculum framework, where there can be points and credits for such kind of papers. There has to be focus on character building, sensitivity. You have to have value papers which are having this kind of flavor within the curriculum, or at least you have to open up that beyond our institution, go adopt this credit from here, there, you will have to guide the institution. And innovative pedagogy, which in any case, as I said, most of the technical institutions have already in place. And this entire thing, when we refer to, what is very, very important is that there has to be focus on making the students think that it is not just the education of what you do, write, learn in books, your technical aspects, that is important. Thinking from the perspective of the world and what you can give back to the world, that is also important. So you have to ensure that the learners on your campuses start developing critical thinking skills. So NAC asks you, say for example, till now College of Pharmacy, when NAC is asking you, so in your curriculum, do you have papers of such nature which build for you, students an approach to local issues and national issues and global issues and sustainability and ethics? Till now you were saying curriculum is not framed by us, curriculum is done by the university, etc. And 1 or 2 papers you were giving, but now you will have to integrate into your curriculum because you will be creator of the curriculum. So you have to start thinking on that, so that cognitive, this action starts at mind. You have to give the opportunities to the students so that they can do experiential learning in these areas, NSS participation, other such kind of drives, okay, where the students from the campuses are participating, you are giving them credits, okay, you have done participation, fine, fine, you are now at least holding these many credits. So if overall program credits are 120, you have already achieved 3 credits. Now focus on other from where else you can obtain. And then finally, if you can do this effectively, definitely it is visualized that there will be some behavioral change which will take place. So somebody who has from heart, with heart, participated in NSS activities, remember that there has already been some mindset change. They will look at world differently. Somebody who has gone and worked in slums already had a mindset change. Somebody who has been doing beach cleaning drive will always be conscious of that how do we keep the water bodies clean. Okay, so such kind of changes are being visualized. Besides that, what else? Besides that, what is visualized is that when we look at our UG and then forward to that PG programs, they should be such that, as I discussed, you should be having multidisciplinary approach. Within that, what flavor should come? One from your discipline, which should be major. 50% of the credits of whatever program you are offering, 50% of the credits should come from there. Along with that, freedom to do minor. Okay, now I am not talking in terms of what I feel. I am discussing UGC guidelines. These guidelines are already released. These are draft guidelines, but they are already there. They are there on the UGC website. So what UGC is saying, that in case if you are thinking of 4-year degree program, what exactly should it have a scope of? So it should have a scope of major discipline, okay, 50% credits, minor discipline, around 20% credits, ability enhancement courses. So in pharmacy discipline, you will have to visualize course which can further enhance the ability. So most probably for you all, it will be soft skills. So ability enhancement courses, skill enhancement courses, so experiential learning. Say for example, I came to know today in morning that Vivekanand College of Pharmacy has an industry tie-up, Procter and Gamble lab is existing. So are you giving some courses which are related to that lab where experiential learning is taking place? Value-added courses within the curriculum. If you are not offering, open that for the students to obtain, and within that framework also is scope for research. So from single major, we are moving to double major, further to interdisciplinary approach, and to interdisciplinary minors, and then also to vocational education. So now it is not that. Abhi tak kya hota tha, when you are looking at your framework. So we have pharmacy, we have engineering, we have law, we have management, we have social sciences, we have other commerce streams, and vocational education. So we had BVOC degree, it was and. Now it has to be within this. How do you create that vocational format? And UGC has also given the guidelines. So for this you need guidelines. No, how do I do this? We have to do so much. How do we do it? So UGC has suggested that 50% of the credits have to come from core discipline. So a student of pharmacy has to obtain 50% of the credits from the core discipline. 20% can come from some other discipline, some minor also, or from the same discipline but some other specialization. Say for example, when we refer to management, we say our major can be finance and our minor can be marketing. I'm sure that even in pharmacy that is possible. Major is one and minor is other. But then 5% have to definitely come from other discipline, which is not at all related to pharmacy. So the scope is 50% from the major, even minor can be interdisciplinary, okay? And definitely 5% has to be interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary, has to come from altogether different domain. Then there have to be ability enhancement courses, 5%, skill enhancement courses, 5%, value-added courses, 5%. Summer internship has to be mandatory, which pharmacy colleges don't have to worry about because it's their research project, dissertation, again you don't have to worry about. Now for these aspects, who have to worry about? those which are into, faculty of arts, like say for example sociology or discipline like say for example civics and politics, etc. Because there was no concept of internship. I still remember that while we were working, and but let me not say I, because we had a team, while we were working for NAC data, under criteria 1 we had this point of internship, student internship. So NAC said internship, field visits, projects. It's slash slash slash. So we re-educated our departments, because for NAC, to understand the framework, you also have to guide. First, you have to understand yourself, and then you have to guide others. So when we started approaching departments, Department of Psychology and Department of Philosophy and Department of Civics and Politics, they said we don't do internship. We said, okay, you don't do internship, you must be doing field visits. They said, no, we don't do field visits. We said, okay, you must be doing projects, no? Something you must be doing. Please give us that data. Whatever you have done, please give us data. So then that realization started coming in, we have to, and we have to show our involvement in terms of a student learning, that they are doing something which is hands-on. They are going on the field, they are doing the project which is related to a problem, solution, they are presenting their research, their dissertation which is happening, there is an exercise of viva which is happening, or you are making it a public space where you are inviting teachers from other departments and they are evaluating your students. Something you have to do so that the students get that hands-on experience. So there are points for that, and that is how your 100% of the credits will be met. Okay, so 50% from the discipline, maybe even another 20% from the discipline, but minor. But if some student says, no, I don't want from this discipline, I want from another discipline, even that freedom has to be extended. Okay. So how do we do that? How do we do that? It's a big challenge, right? And for that also UGC guidelines are there. So it's very, very important that everyone who is there in this room starts now visiting UGC website to understand that what all guidelines have come. UGC has floated initially the draft guidelines, and dependent on responses it has received, it is finalizing them. One of those guidelines which were floated almost 6 months back was this. How do you set up multidisciplinary HEIs? And UGC in its draft guidelines gave certain options. And 6 months back means it invited suggestions. Based on whatever suggestions it received, it is finalizing, which means another 2 months, 3 months down the line, you will have concrete ways. But even from the draft, you can start now thinking what you can do. So how do you create multidisciplinary educational institutions? So one can be do academic collaboration. So let me first start with example of Vivekananda College. Okay, so Vivekananda College of Pharmacy is on a campus where we have engineering college, management college, and pharmacy college, right? And next to you also is commerce college, right? Science college also, art, science, commerce college. Okay. So what you can do is you can think of, your management now can think of creating a cluster college. So within this college, cluster college, okay, where you have pharmacy, 1, management other, engineering third, art, science, commerce, start thinking of courses which your students can adopt and start giving them these bouquets. Okay, if you want to go beyond discipline, from management you can learn this, you can do your minor, or at least 5% you can learn from all these courses which are there from engineering, management, other streams, and start working on that. You become multidisciplinary. You don't have to create new department of social science at pharmacy college, because that's not possible, that's not feasible also. So, but you can adopt cluster concept. So that is one. In case you don't have any other college under your management except for what you are, there is also a possibility like that. So in case there is no other sister college which is existing under the management and cluster college concept from within management is not possible, then you should start talking to the colleges in the vicinity which are multidisciplinary and start discussing that can we have an overall arrangement wherever students can learn some of the subjects from your college. How do you do that? That you will have to further think on, but it is possible. In fact, this is happening at our own government level. So, Government of Maharashtra, Department of Higher Education is saying, telling universities, please sensitize colleges. They can start working on it on their own. They don't have to wait for guidelines. They can start thinking of these collaborations. Then another can be mergers. So in case you have single stream institutions under the same management, because of AICT guidelines, you were blocked in terms of being standalone. Let's remember, another 2 years down the line, all those guidelines have to change. Okay, so they will say, okay, you can integrate. They will still give you the technical dimensions, so many teachers and this much infrastructure. But merger will be possible. It is possible to create a multidisciplinary institution or add departments. If you don't want to do anything like that, at least add some departments which are giving you the multidisciplinary approach. And UGC has come out with guidelines. But the regulatory body of education in India has come out with guidelines. AICT follows UGC. Okay, AICT. I'm not saying AICT is under UGC, but overall framework is such that it can't be above UGC. Okay, it has to match with whatever is the thought and the process of extension of education of UGC. This I'll not spend time on because you all are already aware. But in NEP, your curriculum has to become outcome based, which every technical institution has done, because for MBA it is must. So in a way already that process has taken place. Then next is multiple exit and entry. For this also the work has to start. So government is asking each state's Department of Higher Education, tell us what you have done, and each state Higher Education Department is asking universities, tell us what you have done. So how many programs are there now on your campus which have multiple entry and exit options? Which means now students, if they don't want to pursue from UG first year to second year, can go out with certificate. From UG second year to third year can go out with diploma. Third year if they complete, they can get a UG degree. If they complete one more year, they can get a PG degree. I understand pharmacy is beyond that, so already you have a format which is a 4-year kind of disciplinary format. Along with that, you also, if you further extend, you can get into the research education. So now once again, how we used to look at the typical concept of granting degrees, slightly that framework is changing. So certificate, diploma, then degree, then research degree, and then further extended research doctoral degree, all those are being visualized. So you can have 2-year PG and you can also have 1-year PG. 2-year PG is for someone who has completed his education by completing 3-year degree program and then comes back and says, I will pursue further, can have 2-year PG degree. Or somebody who did the undergraduate degree in research, that is 4-year degree program, now wants to do PG degree, will have only 1-year degree. Or you can have 5-year UG PG degree combination also, that is possible. And beyond that also it is possible. So even for this, the guidelines have come. So we have NHEQF framework, okay, National Higher Education Quality Framework, which already has draft guidelines in place. And if you can see, level 6 starts from first year of graduation, but it's level 5 starts from first year of graduation, which means where are the other levels? They start from school. Level 1, level 2, level 3, 10th, 11th, 12th and so on and so forth. Okay, so which means that students right from school are now in the NHEQF framework. For higher educational institutions, people like you and me who are here, for us what matters is, or starts, draws our attention is level 5. So level 5, certificate, first year. Level 6, 2-year of degree program, that is diploma. Level 7, 3-year of degree program, that is granting of the degree. Level 8 is 4 years of degree program, which is granting honors degree to the student, or 3-year degree program and the student says 1-year diploma you give, BPG diploma, postgraduate diploma. Level 9 is master's degree program, which is 2 years, so 3-year degree program and then 2-year PG program, or honors degree and 1-year master's degree program, that is level 9, and level 10 is doctoral program. So how many credits for each? If you have a question, etc., read an HEQF. So UGC website where you will find even how many credits per year. Okay, all that is already available. So all this framework has also come. This is also in place. And as I stated that now universities are being asked, tell us which programs. So remember, easiest to do will be, pressure will come on autonomous colleges. So I understand that those who are sitting here may not be representing autonomous colleges, but first pressure will come on autonomous colleges. Second pressure will come on technical colleges. Okay, so you all will be told very soon. You start thinking of moving in this direction, and now it's not going to be a lot of gap. Remember that it is going to happen very soon. And then you have to extend the students this exit option. So if you are saying that you will have this framework where students can have certificate and diploma and then degree and then postgraduate diploma, you have to extend the exit option to the students as well as entry option. So in order to ensure that there is uniformity of guidelines, again, UGC has given a draft framework where it has stated that a student who takes the exit option, if he or she wishes to complete the degree, has to come back to the institution within a period of 7 years. If it doesn't or she doesn't, then not possible. And within 7-year period, you have to complete and move out. Okay. And second is, in case you want to re-enter, gap should not be greater than 3 years. This is draft. Maybe they may say 4 years. Maybe they may increase to 10 years. But draft guidelines are already in place, which say that this will be the framework which will be existing. And then you have to ensure that the students can go beyond your discipline, which I have already discussed previously. So how do you go ensure that your students go beyond your discipline? One is within your framework by creating cluster colleges, by starting more departments, or by having collaboration with other higher education institutions, you do that. And other can be, you give your students the opportunity to opt for academic bank of credit progression. So even for this, the guidelines are there and the process has started. So in case, let's say you have to do alignment to ABC, the institutions have to register on ABC portal. ABC portal is hosted by NAD, which is National Academic Depository Portal. So all degree granting institutions have to register on NAD and have to upload their degrees on DigiLocker. So University of Mumbai is already there. We have, let me again not say we because I do not represent the university, but University of Mumbai has uploaded more than 14 lakh degrees, and now this will be every year practice. So every student who is passing out, his qualification, degree are there. Now extension of that is ABC, which means once this curriculum framework and HEQF curriculum framework is adopted by the colleges for which the discussion is on, as well as by the university, which now discussion has to be converted. If a student gets certificate, that will go, what credits he earned, she earned, will go on where DigiLocker. So certificate, diploma, PG diploma, degree. So if let's say a student has obtained 50% of credit from Vivekanand College of Pharmacy and says now I will do remaining from somewhere else, the student will also be there on the portal, and on the portal will be able to see what all institutions are there and what kind of academic programs they are offering. So from any part of the country, he or she can choose their program, their course, not program, their course, and can opt for those many points. Those many points have to be identified by whichever institution he or she is doing it, and that institution has to upload this on DigiLocker. So Vivekanand College of Pharmacy will know that its student XYZ has obtained 50% credit from within the institution, 20% from here, 5% from here, 5% from here, and then you say, okay, now the overall 100% attainment of degree is complete, and in case you are autonomous, you can give your degree on your own, or you will make request to the university, kindly issue the degree. So that kind of freedom will exist. But it may look like right now a story, right? But this will no longer be a story. Very, very soon, this is happening already. Change has started. Now, because ABC is also going to be massive exercise, this will be one of its type for the first time in our country. So, stage-wise, phase-wise implementation of that is taking place. For that, what are permitted are those which are autonomous colleges and universities, which have got NAC grade of at least A, NB accreditation with at least 675 points, or NIRF ranked, you can hear me, 100, top 100 ranking institution, or even in the global ranking among the top 1,000 institutions. Okay, but remember that this will not be limiting condition another 2 years down the line. Once this starts functioning well, then other institutions will also join. Hello? Not working. I'll continue.
Hello.
Thank you. So, but also remember, as I stated, that this right now is phase-wise thing, but then this will also come to every institution over a period of time. This may not be very immediate for you. What will be very immediate will be multidisciplinary approach. What will be very important will be multiple adoption of NHEQF, giving the students exit and entry option, etc. This will happen over a period of time, but already action points for this have started. Say for example, the universities now have to register. University of Mumbai has registered. University has to inform that what all programs they are offering. Within that, what all courses are there. They have to get ready for offering those courses online or at least in offline mode to the students from other universities, institutions. They have to create systems that these courses can be offered. So imagine how much work, but there is no going back. That I can tell you. Now it is like you have to do it. Somehow you have to do it. So how do institutions can move to that? So in case let's say you are an eligible institution, you have to register on NAD. From NAD you have to move to the ABC portal. You have to encourage your students also to register there. You have to give information of what courses you are offering, what courses you will offer on ABC platform. It's not necessary that 100% of your courses have to be on ABC platform. You can decide on some of the courses which can go on ABC platform. The students will then be provided the login. In fact, any student can right now also create login on DigiLocker. So students can log in. The students can then look at the curriculum framework, 50% from your institution. Will they like to still do another 20% from your institution or some other institution? They can select such courses and programs, and then they can obtain those credits. Those credits goes on DigiLocker. You as an institution has to check that whether or not your student has done that attainment and has to decide on granting the degrees. So credit transfer has to become real. Now how do you do that? This is very, very challenging, right? So how do you do that? So for that, the institutions have to gear up for definitely distance and online education. Let's say if you don't have right now the competency or the confidence to say that I can really do it in a robust manner as far as distance and online education is concerned, at least you can have LMS. What I've realized in my interaction with several of the colleges, that they don't even have a learning management system. If you have a learning management system, something which is as simple as that of Moodle also, which involves no cost except for your adoption and basic server and hosting, etc., and some kind of IT change in terms of what plugins you are bringing in. Each of the faculty member can start hosting their course, and as you progress, you can make it more and more robust. So, say for example, in our curriculum, in semester 2 you have 8 papers, and all faculty members who are offering those 8 papers take them on LMS. Okay, so while you are teaching in classroom, you're opening window for the students beyond your campus to at least do the course on LMS. Okay, and then you can have once in a month or once in a 15 days online contact program. I am using those formats very effectively today to touch upon executive education. Say for example, there is a 11th month senior leadership program offered by IIM Ahmedabad, IIM Lucknow, IIM Kolkata, etc. So how do they do it? So they have an LMS. You have to, once you pay the fees and all, you are enrolled on the LMS. Each faculty puts their curriculum, notes, videos, content on that LMS subject wise, like that distinction gets created, and then once in a week they do one contact class. You have to read on your own. Contact class keeps you on toes because you have to keep on, and then one exam is conducted and they say, okay, done, competency matched. So students will have that option that I want to do one course from IIM. Vivekanand College of Pharmacy student says, I will like to do 3 credit courses from IIM Ahmedabad. So IIM Ahmedabad will be there on the portal, and students can do that, provided that fees, whatever it is, he or she is willing to pay, they can do that. And that kind of enrichment you will have to accept, because that kind of existence of credits will be there. So within your institution, at least you can start by building LMS and training your faculty members to host their courses on LMS. Say for example, University of Mumbai, it's very, very slow to move. But we could move because of pandemic. So during pandemic, when suddenly none of us had clue that how to reconnect with our students. So there was this massive training program which we organized only for campus teachers. So IQAC conducted training program where our 300 campus teachers were taught how to work on LMS and host courses on LMS. Madam, you will recall Mandar Bhanushi was, so that was our IQAC initiative. So during pandemic first phase, starting from May till June, we trained our campus teachers to host their courses on LMS. And outcome was that 10,000 students of our campus went on LMS, were registered on LMS, and 600 plus courses were hosted, which now is growing every year, because now we are not exiting, now we understand the beauty of it. So besides classroom teaching, if I want to conduct a test, why I should do a paper pen test? I can always take it on LMS. I can have long option format, short option format. Everything is possible on LMS. So I can do that. I can take their assignments on LMS. I can ask them to make videos and submit on LMS. So at least that is possible. So institutions have to start thinking on distance and online education. Until now, only A+ institutions were permitted for distance mode. The guidelines will soon be that you will be, in case you are A category institution on NAC, you will be permitted for online education. So Vivekanand will very soon be eligible. You just have to keep on watching those guidelines which are existing. You will have to apply for UGC recognition just for that, and in case you have A, you will be allowed to float some courses on in online format as well. So what to expect in the coming months? Now let me end by saying what to expect, and this is something which I am speaking from my experience because as IQAC we also are, I'll not say we represent, but we become sometimes via media between higher education department and university. Where university has to do the guidelines and the changes, we become communicators, so we are aware. So there is a 21-point KRA which government has created, key result area document which government has created, and on that either monthly, depending upon point, or quarterly or 6 monthly feedback is being sought from the university. So what are these areas? Let's look at and what are within those areas points. So there are 5 areas in which these KRAs are divided, and on what points responses are being sought. The points are these. First is whether or not the universities have been able to establish learner-centric education. And when we refer to learner-centric education, there are 4 pillars of that. Multi-disciplinary education, so it is being asked, what have you done? Adoption of academic bank of credit, what have you done? Adoption of multiple entry and exit, what have you done? And have you adopted NHEQF in your framework? Okay, so universities can't keep on saying every 6 months, 3 months, no, we have not done that. Already firing is happening. Why? You should have done, no? Some are very simple things. Why it is not done? Which means the moment it is done, everyone has to do. Okay, so this is going to happen very soon. In the board of studies, this discussion will happen. Autonomous colleges will be called and they will be told you have to definitely make this change. The second is movement towards ODL and online programs. So again, ministry is asking whether or not you have created a nodal center for SWAYAM MOOCs. Have you adopted them in your curriculum? In case you have not adopted, adopt them. So they will ask you politely now, another 3 months they will ask you why you have not done, and another 6 months down the line you will be fired. What is stopping you? Okay, this has done, this university has done, so this will also happen. In addition to that, all institutions which can offer ODL courses, all A grade, NAC A grade institutions can offer ODL courses. How many you have trained? How many have started? So all these questions will start coming up. Next is whether or not institutions have industry-institute collaboration. So colleges of pharmacy, I don't have to say much because you all work in a discipline where a lot of collaboration is involved. But the institutions which don't have this kind of collaboration have to start working on this. They have to have courses, structures, summer internship, processes, research and development cells. Every institution is supposed to have a separate R&D cell. Every institution is supposed to have industry institute linkage center. Every institute has to have an alumni association or at least portal for alumni connect. So an internship has to be part of the curriculum. So those disciplines which never had will have to have change their curriculum to adopt that. Next one is academic research and internationalization. So even for this, the guidelines have been released by UGC. So institutions will now be kind of free to have collaborations with international institutions. So if you are autonomous and you want to do MOU with some other university to offer a twinning program or dual degree program or joint degree program, okay, so there are very clear guidelines ki what are necessary preconditions. You just have to match that and you can do MOU and you can go ahead. So no limitation now. You can go ahead and start working on this. In addition to that, every institution has to participate in ranking framework and every institution has to be accredited. So this pressure also will start building on you all from university side very soon. Till now, university was bothered about their own accreditation and it was in happy space that, okay, those who will take, but now we have to give target. University has to give target. 5% every year. So in case we have 289 accredited institutions, which means remaining 500 are not. So we have to give target 5% every year. So 40 colleges के पीछे we will identify and we will be after them. You have to submit your SSR. You have to get, because those targets have to be given and very clear targets. They can't be hazy targets that we will. It will not be like that. They have to be actual outcomes. So if we teach outcome based education, no, so Ministry of Education is coming back to us and saying, tell us your outcome. So it cannot be promises anymore. And last is whether or not you are integrating your curriculum with what we define as Indian knowledge system. So there have to be courses in Indian language, which languages, if I understand correctly, if I understand and that is right, at University of Mumbai, at least a resolution has been accepted in the academic council that for the technical courses, there can be offer of these programs even in Marathi. So step one, like met, at least that is done. But then along with that, you have to go further. You have to give scope in the curriculum to have IKS. How do you do that? So we have IKS body. Where now for us also, we all are taking baby steps, we can do and understand more about it by doing courses in that. Courses in that, they will inform you about, okay, this can be done, this can be done, these can be programs which can be visualized. So please visit IKS website and check that what are the opportunities which are existing, because sooner or later you will have to have all these part of your accreditation framework. So next cycle NAC will ask you IKS, tell us what you have done in IKS. Even NBA will ask you. So all these we have to start working on. So let me stop here and I'm open for questions if any.
You would like to first summarize here. Please sit there.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks. Thank you so much, madam, for such a wonderful session on this very important topic of new education policy. I will summarize the session. Ma'am has started with providing the aim of higher education and enlighten about the different history of different education policies in India. Started with the Radhakrishnan policy in 1948-49. Thereafter the D.S. Kothari Commission, which was there in 1964-66. Thereafter the policies of 1986 to 1999, which were talked of right to education, which was important aspect. Thereafter, ma'am talked about the different values that are required in integration in academics, and importantly she has quoted the V.S. Prasad NAC perspective in terms of two-way, quality as fitness for purpose and quality as fitness of purpose. Madam has well explained about the different NAC value framework and NBA framework, including Madam has enlightened about the different vision pointers of the new education policy and importance of the multidisciplinary approach according to the concept of new education policy, and to develop the different types of values of academics in students. Madam has explained different slide features of the new education policies that are required, mainly focusing on more to the different interdisciplinary education, and talk regarding the different aspect of student support, student progression, etc. Thereafter, Madam explained about the institutional perspective, which is important from the new educational policy. Thereafter, and also Madam said that number of institutions which are affiliated to University of Mumbai, 839 and 55 amongst them are autonomous. and also explain about the NEP expectations in terms of multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary approach, and UNESCO's curriculum guidance. Different nature and components of the 4-year degree and appropriate integrations of the Indian knowledge system. Madam has explained about the importance of minimum credits that are required to award the different levels as per new education policies. Like 50% of the credit are required to get the particular from the core stream. 50% of the credit should be there from the core stream. 25% should be from minor, and 5% has to be there from the multidisciplinary aspect in order to get the particular award of degree as per new education policy. Madam has also explained how will multidisciplinary aspect of higher education institution to set up the different aspect in terms of different UGC guidelines, multiple exit and entry for different levels of certificate, diploma, UG course and PG course. Thereafter, Madam has explained regarding alignment to ABC, given the overlight of the NHEQF framework which have been required to be adopted by the higher education institutions at different levels of level 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Eligibility criteria for the approval of higher education institution as per the new education policy. And lastly, Madam has well explained about what are the expectations in the current scenario through different institutions and different KRAs that Madam has well explained. So it was a very important session, and as a IQAC coordinator, we are very happy that she has given us a time and explained the various aspects of the new education policy. It is truly even important for the different private institutions as well. And I hope there are a lot of questions from this particular topic from the audience. So, with this summary, we'll proceed ahead with the question and answer session. So, I request the audience, you can ask the questions.
Madam, I wanted to know what is the time frame for a native status institution to get affiliated with NAC?
I think guidelines have come for that also. You don't have to wait for 5 years anymore.
No, don't have to wait for 5 years anymore.
Any other question?
Well, that was a very informative session. Thank you for that. I have two questions. One is regarding ours being a professional course. What about distance learning? Because students, 75% approximately or 60% is their practicals. So when we talk about distance learning, how it will be applicable for pharmacy?
Lab component, etc. So for that also, madam, if you look at, because of pandemic, somehow lot of mindsets have undergone a change. So virtual labs are possible. Extending that facility to the students are possible. But remember that students are still learning 50% of the core in your stream. Means somebody who is enrolling for a degree in pharmacy will definitely opt for having 50% courses on campus. So that limitation will not be there, and then what courses can go from here on ABC will be your decision. So those courses which you feel are not very lab heavy, which can be offered effectively, efficiently as a minor component on ABC platform, you can create that kind of bouquet. 50% in any case the students have to attain on campus. It's not 100% online degree.
Thank you, madam. Next question is like actually you explained now what can be the elective, but still like we were going as per our conventional system of elective means as per our syllabus also in semester 6, 7, 8 students have elective subjects as per their interest of domain. So in such cases, like for example, a class of 100 students and few of them want different electives. So this is a type of a challenge when it comes for administration also. Okay, if the students are offering n number of electives which are available as per the syllabus, but we may not have so many numbers, even it will exceed what are the expectations of AICT with respect to number of staff members. So how can
A cluster concept. So colleges should come together from a zone, and instead of each college offering those specialization, you all can decide, aggregate that what you will be offering, what other college will be offering, and giving that opportunity to the students.
yes, so that part also can be taken online. So the students at their institute can attend those lectures.
Yes, I think we had done this. That was not typically a cluster concept, but I recall that as management institution, there is this specialization which is in systems, which very few students opt for. So there was this private college which made a request to us that we will be sharing the fees dependent on division of fees on the semester and tuition. We will be sending you across this tuition fee component. So can you add the students of our college to your class where the students can learn the subject from your campus? And we had done that. That was long back. That's always a possibility.
Yes, because I can understand like when we did our degrees or post-graduation, it was not anything black and white, but PCP students and KMK students that used to attend their master's program in each other's colleges. Yeah, thank you.
I have questions pertaining to integrated courses like UG and PG. I think, can you say something about their evaluation pattern or evaluation criteria? Because the student is not strong enough in the undergraduate course, how will it fit into the postgraduate? So your evaluation criteria has to be powerful, then only he can pursue.
Somebody who is not strong enough will not be able to complete the graduation. No?
But
Somebody who has completed the graduation is
then
like
how the integrated course will be called, because he's pursuing.
exit option is there. No?
Yeah, that's what. So you said about exit and entry point that in the criteria.
Yes. So somebody who is not capable.
Yeah, capable. Yeah,
These
that's
are
what.
our assessment formats. We as teachers may feel, okay, he is not capable, she is
Because the
not
assessment,
capable.
because if it is an autonomous university, then the assessment parameter has to be strong.
Agreed. So in case the student is not able to move to the next level, it's automatically decided that he or she will not be there for your master's program.
Thank you, madam, for the wonderful session. I have two questions. One, you talked about multiple entry and multiple exit. Now, in case of pharmacy, for example, a student leaves for 1 year or 2 year or 3 years, you said that diploma and UG certificates will be provided. Is it the responsibility of the college or affiliated university to provide these certificates?
Autonomous college, if it is responsibility of the college. Otherwise, university has to change its framework. It will happen.
Now, the second thing is like, in case of the diploma, that is for second year, and the third year and final year, our pharmacy students get the pharmacy license from the state councils. So, what about that thing? I don't know whether they are aware about this or whether the student will get
All across the guidelines will change, and as it is, whatever are your norms, basic minimum standards for practice, as you stated, that you need a license from the pharmacy council. So there must be some basic minimum that it has to be met. So in case the student is matching that, it will still continue. So there is no doing away with that concept. But the students have to be briefed and have to be told that you have to do this basic minimum. And for all, you remember, guidelines will come. All have to fall in place.
Thank you so much.
Fall in place not because, but that's the vision map. Now there is no going back. So what we have been realizing is first 2 years of pandemic now we have spent on discussing about NEP and everyone wished away NEP. Everyone thought it will never happen. Now those 2 years are already gone. Now it will happen. Now you have to change. There is no option.
Thank you, ma'am. Hello, madam. I have a question that whether this NEP will help in reverse brain drain. Because these days students are opting for the foreign universities rather than Indian universities.
I really am not, I am not sure whether I am the right person to answer that. It should be from the policy maker's perspective that answer should come. But let us understand first of all the reasons for brain drain, and we understand that in our families as well, right? When we interact with our own kids, and most of our kids do not want to continue their education here. The reason why they don't want to continue their education here, the reasons are two. In case if they want to get into best of the institution, the competition is so stiff that not everyone makes it to them. Okay, so when you look at competition and pressure of getting into IIT, and you look at the number of applicants and the number of seats, the ratio, and compare that with best, QS ranking universities, you will realize that it's a challenge. Second is our admission systems are too much focused on that written exam system, that write exam and then qualify. But international education system and admission procedures are based on your overall personality. You have to write your statement of purpose, you have to talk about what have you done for society, you have to highlight your contribution in terms of what have you done for social service. You have to appear as a well-rounded individual, that you have dabbled in sports, you have done maybe some music, you are into little bit arts, you are into social activities, and based on that then they decide are you really fit for their system, their institution. In India we are too much focused on write exam, pass, crack, make it. So this is one of the reason why our kids, those who are able to make it, great, but others feel too pressured by this and they say that this is not all what I want to do, because it's a different mindset. Millennials are very different. We all are interacting with these young kids nowadays in our classes. They are very different. For them, goals of life are not just getting into IIT. Their goals of life are very different. They want to do so many things. So this is one of the reasons that why the students are moving out. Second is, in our education system, we have really created these silos, which over the years have impacted the competencies. When you talk about competencies, which are now required by individuals, they are not the ones which we progressed with, and they are still not part of our campus teaching learning processes. So I hope, yeah. So not everything will change with anything, but yes, some of them will.
Wonderful session by you. I would like to just do little new addition when it comes to pharmacy perspective. This is because I happen to interact with our NAC chairman. I shared with you. He is Dr. Shailendra Saraf, who is a national level policy making authority. So we were discussing about National Higher Education Framework and its application for pharmacy. So when the framework talks about completion of 5th level and getting diploma degree, after 12th standard we have a 2 years diploma program. So whether it will get abolished, that was first question. Then the NHEQF also talks about 4 years bachelor degree with research, and if you have done 4 years bachelor degree with research, that is 8th level, then at 9th level with 1 year you can get a PG degree, whereas our master's course is of 2 years. So whether this is also going to get revamped and the 2 year is going to get converted to 1 year. Also it is talking about direct, if you have a bachelor's degree with research, that is 4 years degree, you can be directly get admitted to PhD. by skipping the PG level. So whether this is going to happen for pharmacy, these were some questions. So I was made to understand, nothing has come in writing, but this was a verbal discussion. So I was made to understand that medicine and paramedical are already out from NHEQF. This NHEQF, they have not applied to medical and paramedical. And Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, under which pharmacy PCI comes, they are trying to also bring out pharmacy from NHEQF, so that our existing educational system will not be having a sea change, but certain multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary aspects that Madam has mentioned, all these would be applied. But when it comes to the existence and survival of diploma courses, 2 years postgraduate courses, there is not going to be a major change there when it comes to our framework. So I just thought of sharing it at this moment because I happened to raise these questions when he had come here and he had given me some kind of perspective. So let's wait and watch, because ultimately our apex body is Pharmacy Council of India. Unless it adopts this particular changes, it is not going to get reflected into curriculum. And now with government norms, PCI norms, this is a national level syllabus and curriculum that every university has to adopt. So our university adopted it after a great reluctance and resistance. Our board adopted it in 2019. So PCI at the back end is working towards revising this syllabus, and with NEP impact, they are going to incorporate this flexibility, this kind of credits, so that we also will have some autonomy somewhere and the NEP purpose will not be defeated. So that's what I felt like adding here.
Yeah,
Thank you,
what you stated is right. So when you said will this impact, so as I stated, it will happen. So it will happen, but within the framework, basic minimum, this has to be met, and over and above, then what else? So no one can wish away anymore. It is going to happen dependent upon different bodies. Say for example, architecture norms, so there is a Council of Architecture, or as you said, Pharmacy Council of India, etc.
Yeah, architecture
Yes.
was not mentioned here.
Yes,
So those
Yes.
who have their independent councils that are right now not adopting NHEQF unless council takes a decision.
But councils will have to take decision. The pressure is too much, madam. But when you will understand it, the policy
that is
framework level, the pressure is too much. So
And
it
that
will
is
happen.
required actually.
Yes.
It has to move as per it.
Just want to understand that these new policies that are being coming up, how will they help Indian students to stand globally across other universities outside India?
So I think in a way I can answer you by going back to what she had asked. Okay, so our education system has been such that we have been too much discipline focused. And when you look at international students, they are not that discipline focused. It's not that their quality in their discipline is low. They are excelling in that. But then they are knowing several other things. Say for example, if I have to do carpentry at my home, just imagine, visualize. Can I fix my door? I cannot. I've never learned that. But it's part of the curriculum in the international setups where you are taught everything. You can paint your house, you can fix your car, you can fix your door, you can build houses, fine, you know everything. So what is more important is being well-rounded. When you speak to several of foreigners, if they have gone through the education system, I'm not talking about somebody who dropped out of after just completing maybe just basic elementary education. I'm talking about those who have been to universities and colleges. You will realize that they know so many other things beyond what is their discipline, because they have had this opportunity existing on the campus and some were mandatory courses. Say, for example, from the school level, there were certain mandatory courses that they could learn everything. In India, we did not do that because somehow we felt that that's not important. Maybe the reason is there is so much of competition which has been existing throughout. No, that there was a need to focus so much on education that other things were left out. We have had this saying, no, right? हमने अपने parents से सुना है कि पढ़ोगे लिखोगे तो बनोगे नवाब, खेलोगे कूदोगे बनोगे खराब. No, there has been so much. If you are playing and doing other things, so क्या करना है घर में बैठ के फिर झाड़ू पोछा करना है क्या? No, these have been the common comments. But when you look at these skills, you will realize that so much of difference in life they can make. Just to give one example, I don't think it's very much related, but yes, it captures the essence of what you are saying. So my younger daughter, she's writing her 10th exam this next year. She's in 10th right now. So she was initially for first till 5th standard. She was in a girls' school located towards South Mumbai, and that girls' school has this concept that whatever is homely also has to be taught, which we always had. While growing up, specifically me, I had not a lot of aversion towards doing home chores, say for example, cooking and cleaning and sewing and knitting, because I used to think that they will somehow restrict my growth. I used to think they will make me not too homely. I never wanted to do that. So my daughter went through this school where along with academics they said you should know knitting and you should know how to do embroidery and knit and all other things, little bit of cooking and all. Now she's in 10th. And the way she relaxes is she does embroidery and she has done embroidery on her jeans. She has embroidered and gifted me an artwork. She has done embroidery for her father. And when we all look at it, we get this wow element. And for her, no, this is how she relaxes. So, and she knows, I do not know, I can't do even one good stitch. And she knows, no, this is something which is important, where you can do so many other things beyond what you are otherwise taught to do.
Ma'am, I have one question.
Yes.
In this NEP, earlier credit base, we have a particular syllabus, and on that syllabus basis, the pharmaceutical companies have that in mind and they select the candidates accordingly. But if we have our own syllabus, all collated and made one syllabus.
So remember what Madam has spoken about. See, you all are experts of your domain. I may not understand that. But then there will be always some broad guidelines. Okay. So there will always be some core papers which you can't do away with. And that can't be freedom of the autonomous college to say, no, I will not follow. So there will always be some model syllabus, model curriculum which has to be followed. So your council, which is your apex body, will give you the model syllabus and will ensure that within the model syllabus they say how these 5% ability enhancement courses will come, or what these can be, or what kind of freedom can be imparted. Can minor be from some other discipline as well? So these guidelines are going to come. Rest assured they will happen. Now there is no going back. At least what we know is till 2024, whatever happens you have to adopt. Beyond 2024 also, I don't see much of a change at this stage. So you have to adopt.
Thank you so much, madam. Any other questions?
It's quite motivating.
Ma'am, I have one question, a small question, that we have multiple entry and exit. But when it comes to private institute, most of the private institute, they depends upon the fees they collect from the student. So it affects their intake capacity and it might influence the quality of education that they provide to the students in the case.
So again, for this, rest assured that we are such a country that it is, don't visualize a system where students will just start dropping out. It will not happen. because still no parents are there, no, we are there and sitting at home who are going to say no, don't drop out, complete your education. So till now, those who had to drop out were those who were either not in our education system, in our framework, where we used to declare that they are not competent to move to the next level. Now within this system, what advantage these set of people have? Those whom we thought are not competent to progress, or those on account of some family issues, difficulties are dropping out, they will at least exit with something. Don't visualize, and it will not happen that the students left, right, center will start dropping out. They will not. Everyone has to compete. And India is a very competitive country. There are so many, we all understand. We built that pressure in our home on our kids also, right? So do not visualize with something which is not going to happen. Let me assure you, once we are in 2050 and everyone has money in their pocket, and they want to enjoy life. So like in West, people do not complete their degree programs, and the challenge is how to ensure that they continue their degree program. Then only these challenges will emerge, otherwise.
Thank you. Any other question? Okay. So thank you so much, madam, for such a very wonderful session, and you have cleared the various doubts associated with the implementation of new education policy in higher education institute. So I request respected Dr. Supriya Shidaya madam to felicitate Dr. Smita Shukla madam by giving the memento and certificate as token of appreciation.
Wonderful session. Thank you so much, very much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, madam. Thank you, madam. So with this, we end with this session. We will have a 5 minutes of bio break. Meantime, I request one group member from the first 3 group, which we have the article presentation today as this next activity, to submit your PowerPoint presentation with us, so that after the break we can continue with our next session for the day. Thank you. First 3 group will have article presentation today, and the next 3 group will have tomorrow. So group 1, 2 and 3.
Participants, please sit for a minute. Just one minute. Coming from chair.